to live a dream much bigger than I can imagine. 'Cause I want the world to know that I am here. I believe that I'm unstoppable. I believe I've only just begun. I will conquer, I will fly, reach my peak, I will. And there's nothing that can ever bring me down. I believe.
Edvis is Africa's leading digital educational platform, which enables administration, communication, finance, teaching, and learning beyond the classroom. Edvis allows you as a parent to access and track your child's academic reports and personal growth at any time, giving you a better understanding of your child's academic performance.
Have a nice day at school.
We give you the security and reassurance you need to excel in your daily activities and manage your financial obligations to your child's education. Edvis provides an administrative and management system which enhances accountability, teamwork, and growth needed for a thriving organization. Which brings perfect results. Teach creatively, learn effectively, track your child's performance easily, and do so much more with Edvis. Edvis, digital education. Visit www.edvis.net to get started now.
Okay. Yes, it's better now.
Hello, everyone. So I had to change the audio because a lot of people said they couldn't hear what I was saying. So I just want to confirm, can you all hear me now? Can you all hear me? Please type with an emoji or... Okay, good. So like I said, welcome once again to another edition of the SGA webinar. My name is Nena Okore. I'm the Director for Learning and Research. And also, we will be discussing a very, very important topic this month. I call it important because it's a topic that has been sidelined in most discussions centered around educational technology. So for instance, we've discussed about science STEAM-based learning for science teachers and math teachers. We've discussed things that concern administrators. We've discussed things that concern finance in schools and all that. But there's a particular year group that I see a lot of us sidelining in the process. And we've had questions and comments from our dear educators saying that they don't get to experience technology in this year group, and then they don't get to know how well they can maximize technology in order to teach this particular year group. So that is why we've chosen to discuss this in today's SGA webinar. I remain Nena Okore, and our topic for today is the evolution of technology in early years education. So we're talking about how technology can be implemented to help these young learners learn. When we talk about early years education, we're focusing on the age group of 0 to at least 5 years old, or even higher than that, but focusing more on the early years. So I have an early years expert here with me who is going to be giving us her ideas, sharing her ideas and what she has been doing over the years to implement technology amongst the early years. And then I want you to take out your notes, write down points. If you have questions or you have comments or you have suggestions, this is not just a one-sided discussion. It's a panel discussion, and we want you to be part of the discussion. So if you have suggestions, questions, and you would like to share with us, feel free to drop in the comment section, and then we'll respond to them and also share your ideas and your thoughts as we go on in this program. Thank you very much. So I would like to call on my guests to come up right now. I know she's ready for us. Hi, Patience.
Hello, good afternoon.
Okay, could you increase the volume of your audio so that everyone can hear you?
Okay. Is it better now?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Great.
Thank you very much. So today we are going to be discussing with a very, very wonderful and passionate educator. Her name is Patience Osinaike. She's been a very good advocate for human rights, especially as regards the child rights protection. And then she's also a radio broadcaster and an educator at the same time, an early years practitioner at the same time. So I'll just read out her bio so that we can know more about her and also check her out on her LinkedIn page and other pages. So Patience Osinaike is a young lady who has found love and purpose in working with young children and their families across different platforms in the classroom, swimming pool, and local communities. Yes, I forgot to mention, she's also a swim instructor. So she's doing a lot of things, And then she's a certified and experienced early years practitioner, a child protection advocate, a NACF and USSA certified swim instructor, and a radio host. Patience strongly believes that every child deserves an amazing early start in life, and a standard curriculum is a major tool in achieving that. Hence, this is why she's deliberate about and very intentional when delivering the best learning and teaching experience in the early years foundation stage, EYFS, with a curriculum focused on age-appropriate activities, planning, parental involvement strategies, and collaborative learning. She's the lead learning facilitator at Early Years Learning with Patience Initiative, an e-learning platform that supports teachers, parents, and caregivers to raise a child who will develop holistically from birth age. Welcome, Patience. Welcome. When I talk
you.
about her, she's a multitasker. She does a lot of things from media to teaching to
Classroom.
swimming. So for me, when I talk to young teachers, we're all young teachers, right? I
Yes.
tell them that um, people like you inspire the younger ones coming up because you're trying to
Mm,
show the whole world that even as a teacher in the classroom, that you are
yes.
actually touching lives out there, not just in the classroom. You're actually going out of your way to make sure that education changes. You're also reimagining education in your own way, and that is actually our own vision in Edverse, to reimagine education. So well done, and I want to say keep doing the
Thank
good
you.
work you're doing. Well done. So welcome, and then let's start immediately. I can see a lot of emojis praising you. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Would you like to say hi to our guests before we start?
Yes, yes, okay, yes, of course. Hello, everyone. Thank you, thank you. I can see the class, the emoji. I can see my people at the Early Years Learning with Patients Initiative, my team members. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for doing this with me. And like you rightly said, I basically work with children, across different platforms. So I work as an instructor. I'm a student instructor, a class teacher, but all I do it with children. In fact, I tell people that I work with children for a living. That's what I do. So even the radio programs, I'm advocating for children. I'm advocating for education. I'm advocating for a safe environment as well. When I'm in local communities, I'm advocating for children to have access to, access to quality education, and everything is just around children. I'm so happy to be. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I love to share, and I also look forward to learning from everyone as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patience. So let's go straight into the topic. I hope we all have our writing pads. I have mine as well because I really want to learn more about the early years. Now, let's start with an argument amongst
Hmm.
educators about what early years really is. Now, a lot of educators say that early years is just preschool, while some educators say early years is from 0 to 10 or 11. What is your own definition of early years?
Hmm. Thank you. Thank you for that. I think it's very important that we clarify that because if we don't, we're going to end up missing up so many things. And of course, our approach to working with the children in early years won't be the same. Now, we have early years education, we have early childhood education. Now, early years education is a sub age from early childhood education. Early childhood is from birth age to 8 years old, while early years is from birth age to 5 years old. Okay, so when we talk about early years, we're referring to children from birth age to 5 years old. And we could also, name this group the nursery education, the children in the nursery, because they're just, growing, they're just getting used to their world, just adapting to the environment, they're just getting familiar, with things that are happening around them. They're just getting to also know you as a person, either as a parent or as a teacher, as a caregiver, or as a sports coach. So early years education is a nursery education of children from birth age to 5 years old. And it is very important that we understand this age group. All right, because I've had so many controversies of people saying that even parents are like, oh, they're just young. What are they doing? What is the big deal about early years? But there's a whole lot. There's a whole lot in early years education, and the earlier we begin to attach much importance to it, like we do for primary education and secondary, the better it is for our children when they're ready for higher learning. So here I have it. I wrote it down that early years education is also referred to as preschool, which is the early years foundation stage. That is the word, the foundation stage. So it's from birth age. As soon as you have your child, as soon as you give birth to a child, that child already belongs to the early years group. That stage, that foundation stage for them to start developing a whole lot of things, develop their cognitive skills, their social skills, they are preparing for higher learning. And also this is a group where the children are often offered the best quality care, learning, and very important, very important. We can't
Okay.
underestimate.
Wow. Okay. So, can you hear me, Patience?
Yes, yes, I can hear you loud
Okay.
and
Okay.
clear.
So what you're saying with all authority is that early
Yes,
years is from 0 to 5 years. Because I
yes,
had this argument with a colleague and we went back and forth, and she brought out some evidence from online about what early years that is also involves primary school. So now that you've said this is very, very important for us educators to know that early years education, some countries do 0 to 6. Someone has even said it here that in Finland, in Ireland, sorry, it's 0 to 6, from birth to 6 years and all that. So it's very important for us to know that early years
yes,
education is not primary education, right? That's what you're trying to
yes,
say. It's
mhm,
preschool.
yes,
Good.
preschool.
Thank you very much for that clarification. So I won the arguments. Yay. All right.
Yes,
So let's move on to the next question I have here. Now, why is it very important to the development of a child? Because I see a lot of parents say, for example, when I had my own child, some people told me that why am I taking my child to a preschool? Why can't I homeschool my child and all that? And that you're
mm,
exposing the children to education at a very early age is not necessary and all that. Now, why is early years education, especially as regards the curriculum, why is it very important to the development of a child?
wow. Thank you so much for this, and I'm happy we haven't this question being treated again because it's a question that comes up most of the time, even for new parents. For new parents, there are always concerns from grandparents, or why can't this child just stay at home with us? And because we don't understand the importance, and the world is changing. The world is changing. Going back to the history of the early years development, the early childhood development, when parents have to go to work and children have to stay somewhere, and this is where we are right now. And right now we can't take our eyes off how rapidly the children are growing. The children within this age bracket, birth, to 5 years old, how rapidly they are growing. Now, when we don't give them the effective, or we don't offer them the appropriate early years education from the beginning, from the start, it's going to have a whole lot of side effect when they are much older. All right, because right now they're growing, they are developing their physical strength, they're developing their cognitive ability, they're developing their social skills, they are developing how to relate with the world. So when we give them the opportunity to benefit, it could be in the house, it could be at school, it could be at the daycare center, it could be at the nursery setting. When we give them the opportunity to benefit from early years education programs, it helps them, it prepares them for higher learning. Okay, and also prepares them to be able to develop in all facets of life. We're talking about their social skills. They'll be able to interact with other people. They'll be able to come about resolving conflict. They'll be able to speak for themselves. They'll be able to, self-regulate as well. So early years education, it is very important. It also helps, at this age for us to be able to identify their skills, their talents, the things that they love to do. And because they will always want to play, we are also able to, direct their playing into meaningful engagement. And from the meaningful engagement, we can tell that, oh, this child loves to do this. For example, my kids. My daughter is 8, but of course, these people will say, "Oh, she's a child of the teacher." Well, I think that's a plus, and I'm happy to always say that. Right from when she was way more younger, she's a left-hander, and she always want to draw things. She's always with pen and pencils and everything, markers. And I was like, okay, this is amazing. But guess what? She's 8 years old right now. And most of the painting I have in my sitting room, they were all created by her and her brother. And of course, with my help sometimes. Okay, so early years education offered to children helps them to be able to develop holistically, to be able to manage themselves, able to relate with every other person, and of course, learn some independency as well, because we don't want to raise children who would always need help. All right. We want to raise children who will also be able to do things for themselves, who will also be able to cater for their needs. I'm not saying things that are above their age, but tiny little things as putting on your shoes, feeding yourself, getting potty trained and going to the toilet by yourself. These are the things that they learn at the earliest stage. All right. So I
Okay.
strongly believe and I strongly advocate that every child should, be allowed, should be offered to experience early years education. It is beautiful. It is. And there are always things to do, fun, exciting things, activities to do.
So, so,
Always.
and so I want us to also debunk the myth that early years is about learning how to write 0 to 100, because a lot of preschoolers are being
Hmm.
put under pressure. Can you respond to that? I see a lot of preschoolers coming home with homework like write 0 to 100. I don't know, maybe forcing them to read before their time. I just I cringe when I see
Yes.
that, because these are children that are still trying to even explore language, they're still trying to build
Mhm.
their language skills and everything. So can you help us debunk that myth? I know some parents are also listening, and some school owners and teachers are also listening to this conversation. Can we debunk that myth that early years is not about packing and jam packing a lot of ideas on these little children?
Well, thank you for that. I think this is a fight that we've been on for a very long time, and it's surprising to see that even in the 21st century, with a lot of information out there, we still have these children going through all of this. It is very inappropriate. It is very inappropriate because the first question I love to ask is, what is the use of this to this child? A child is 2 years old, and it could be the school curriculum or the parent, because sometimes the parents will come and say, oh, my neighbor's child is 3 years old, she can count 1 to 1,000, I want my child to do the same.
Yeah, we speech.
And sometimes you're wondering why. So most of when I see such, the first question I'm always asking is, what is the importance of this to the child? What we should do with this figure? They feel like no, it is not useful. It is not useful. Early years is where we prepare them, and we prepare them in a very fun way. In a very fun way, we are preparing them to develop their fine motor skills, their gross motor skills, to be able to communicate, and that is why at the early years foundation stage, the first prime areas, the physical development, the communication and language development, and of course the personal, social, and emotional development. These three prime areas are very, very important because we strongly believe that if a child can develop appropriately in these three prime areas, they will be able to, you know, exceed even your imaginations in the other areas. All right. So please,
Exactly.
please, please, for children that are way younger, let us allow them to be children because I know we're always rushing them to catch up. They will always catch up. All right. But of course, we always have children that they are high flyers, that they want to do so many things. You're observing them, you notice that you begin to give them things that, okay, so little by little you add, but please not 1 to 1,000 for 3 years old. It is not useful. It is not. Please, let's engage them. And I think another thing is most times because some of the teachers sometimes they feel pressurized from the administrator or from the management to push the children because they're like, oh, by the time the child gets to maybe year one, they should be reading 6 letter words, 4 letter words, and from that early stage, you begin to put so many things in their brain that are not useful to them right there. All right, but please let's think about it. Whatever decision you're making as the school owner, the management, the teacher, ask yourself: is it useful to the child? With this child, is the child needing this right now? It is very important. And even as teachers, you have to be creative. Okay, and there's a whole lot of work. Yes, it is. I can tell you, I'm in the profession, and I'm not leaving the classroom anytime soon. I love working with children. It is very, very. It's a whole lot of work. Okay, but trust me, when the more you lay your hands on things and you begin to get a lot of resources, do your research, you will have fun teaching these children, and you realize that there's so many things that they can do rather than trying to put so unnecessary things in their brains. So we can make it work. And for parents, yes, thank you so much, Vicky. The child is the best curriculum. And for parents as well, let's not be too eager to want our child to do so. They're going to do so many things. In fact, you'll be tired of seeing report cards and they will do so many things. But right now, the earliest
Wow,
foundation stage.
that brings me to my yes. So that brings me to my next question. Thank you so much for debunking that myth. You know, I see a lot of times when schools try to adopt technology in teaching and learning, it's as if this age group is sidelined, right? Let's look at what happened during the COVID-19. I did a little research about schools who use LMS, that's learning management systems and school management
Okay.
systems. And I discovered that a lot of preschoolers were cut out from learning
True.
during the COVID-19 pandemic. I don't know if I'm wrong, but in Lagos,
You're
where
right.
I reside, I know that a lot of children, 0 year, that's babies, that's crash,
Mhm.
preschoolers, two
That's true.
years, 1 year, and the rest of them, they were actually cut off from learning throughout that period. So when COVID ended, when the
Hmm.
lockdown ended and they went back to school, it was as if the teachers had to start afresh
From the
teaching these
beginning.
children. You
Hmm.
understand? And that means that these children were cut off from technology. So it
Hmm.
shows that we have even denied them of their rights
Of course,
because
yes.
a child should learn. It's the right of a child to get proper education. So in Africa, for instance, a lot of preschoolers were cut off from learning during COVID-19. And that it's worrisome to me. It's something that I'm a bit apprehensive about if there has to be anything or any issue or any event where we would have to start learning from home again. The
Hmm.
same children, this group of children are still going to be cut off from education. They are still going to be cut off from technology because we are not exposing them to this. So the question I have is, why is it difficult to implement technology for this age group? Why do you think is it? You've been teaching for years, I'm sure. Now, why do you think
Yes.
it's difficult for schools, for teachers, for parents to implement technology to an aspect of learning for the same children? Can you please share?
Yes, of course. Thank you. Thank you for raising that question. I could remember that during the COVID time, um, I happened to work where we're able to interact with some of the children online using technology to teach them. But at the same time, I was also on the streets, reaching out to children who don't have access to search. I was able to witness both because I had time in the morning where I work with children online. Some children, very few, and afternoon, evening, I'm on the street, intervening with children who don't have access to online learning, and we had to do a lot of stuff. I think the first thing is information. The first thing is information, and a lot of time, most of us we have this information, but we don't make use of it. Okay, practically, you will see a teacher, who has a mobile phone and still struggling to be able to create some form of visual learning for children in the classroom. And you're wondering, you have a phone, you could just download a picture and show them, of the concept that you're teaching them. So information, sometimes we have the right information, but we don't use it. I don't want to say it's ignorance, but we don't make use of it. So I could remember that during COVID, it was a struggle. It was a struggle, and there are so many sides to it. We have the parent side, we have the school side, and we have the teachers as well. Now, I think the first thing in the minds of most people are how do we keep the children to sit and how do we keep the children to sit and participate in online learning? That was a question in a whole lot of mind of a lot of people. Like, how do we keep them to say they are young, just going to sit right there? How do we allow them to? How do we ensure that they're able to learn effectively? But we've forgotten that these children, we keep them in front of the TV, we give them iPad, we give them our phones, we give them the tablet to play with, to watch animated movie. How are they able to sit? How are they able to pay attention? How
Hmm.
are, how are
Hmm.
they able to recall the characters in all of this, in the musical videos, in the animated movies? How are they able to remember everything? Because,
Hmm.
like you said, we denied them of their rights. We had this information, but we didn't do justice to it because we felt that, oh, they're young, they don't need it. But meanwhile, in the house, we keep them right in front of the TV because a whole lot of children were just right in front of the TV, they were with the iPad. So that is the first thing. We have the information and we don't make use of it. Okay, which is not good, which is not very good at all. And I think another thing is on the part of teachers, some teachers are not what is the word, digitally literate. Not everybody, even in the 21st century. And then people will say that, oh, I have a mobile phone. It is not just having a mobile phone. What do you do on your mobile phone? Is it just to WhatsApp and just to um, make phone calls and text, and that's all? There's a whole lot you can do on your mobile phone. Because I had someone then that, the school was not supporting online learning, but she was reaching out to the children. She would take pictures, she would write worksheets, she would send them to the parents. She would text it to the parents. She would put a call through in the evening to call to check up on the children and ask how they were doing. All right. So we have some of this device, but we don't make use of it because we're not digital literate. And sometimes we're not even ready to ask questions, to ask people, okay, how do I make use of this thing? So all of this denied, it contributed to that of, coming back after COVID and we're wondering, okay, we're going to have to start teaching all over again. And I think another
Wow.
thing is, yes, and I think
So
another issue is,
hold that thought, patience. I'm so sorry. Hold that thought. I just want to ask an idea just came into my head because that was one experience I had as a teacher then
okay,
and as an administrator. Now a teacher comes to you to say, okay, I'm teaching a 2-year-old online how to trace
okay,
letters, right? I'm teaching a 2-year-old online how to trace letters, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know how, when you're with that child physically, you're with a 2-year-old physically, you
yes,
can hold the child's hands and then the child is tracing and all that. And the dilemma that the teacher said she was facing at that moment was that the parents were not ready to sit down with that child and help.
ooh,
That's another thing that a lot of reports
yes,
came in, that some parents had to work, some parents had to do things, so even though we're all at home, we're working from home. So some parents had to
yes.
work and focus on office work and all that. So to sit down with the children was a big problem for them. So how would you advise such a teacher? Because I still feel that a time will come when we'll still work from home. We'll still learn from home. A
Yes,
lot of things can happen. It might not just be health concerns, it can be economic, can be political. So in such instances, how would you advise that teacher, for example, to teach a child how to trace something as physical as tracing letters or
yes.
numbers?
Okay, so what I would advise the teacher is the first thing you want to do is communicate to the parents your learning goals and what you want to achieve. And there are so many resources online. There are worksheets. Because it's online, you don't have the child with you. You could download some resources, some worksheets online, have it in a file or in a document and write out the instructions. Another thing you could do is, if, of course, your teacher, you like to have your pens and your books at home and your markers, you trace out and take a picture and send it to the parent. Because one thing that yes, we really want to maintain is communication. All right. And I know because it is not so easy, parents are also busy. So if you have your worksheets, you have the instruction. Another thing you could do is make a short video of you tracing just to show how it is done and send it across. Okay, practically. Then follow up. All right, follow up. And when you're giving out instructions to the parents, you also want to tell them why you want them to do this, because I know that sometimes parents will also be like, okay, why is this even important? You want them to know that this is why I want you to do this. And for another thing is that are for children that are younger, that within that age group, you don't want to give them too many things at the same time. All right. You don't want to say trace A, trace B, trace K, trace 1, trace 2, trace 3. No, you want to do it one at a time so you can achieve your learning goals. So I would have advised you to, you know what, have your worksheet, make a video of you tracing, and have your instructions there and send it across to the parent and follow up. It doesn't have to be two
Wow.
pages. It's probably 2 or 3 years old. A page is fine. So even if it's a page, I'm sure the parents will be encouraged to, and they have you are telling them why they have to do it. But most time we had lots of, because even some that actually had online learning and were giving out resources to the parents were not doing it. And because the instructions were not clear, there was nothing, no video to show how to do it. So there were lots of worksheets piling up in parents' portal and all of that.
So
to be able to
what we're saying is that it's So what we are saying is that it's very important for us to have a good learning management system. You understand?
Yes.
For example, EdVest has something like that as well. EdVest has a very good and working learning management system where they can upload this kind of content, and then parents get it real time, because there's the parents portal, the students portal, and of course the teachers portal at the same time. So, and there's one thing I've just learned from you: communication is key. Communication is key. Communication is key. I think that was one thing that was really lacking during the lockdown, when everyone had to work from home. So that communication is very, very key as well. And another thing that I could pick from what you just said before we go on a short break that I would like you to elaborate on is the fact that, the content. What kind of content are you giving the children? You said something about children sitting in front of the TV for hours. I'm mesmerized by the colors and the animation and whatever they are watching. You see a 2-year-old can sit in front of the TV watching them. What's this famous one on YouTube now? Coco Melon, right?
Melon, yes.
And they are watching and singing along and doing everything. So, but when it comes to learning, when it comes to even physical learning, using the same technology that the teacher is employing, you won't see them show that level of excitement, when learning. So why is it so? What do the teachers need to do? Hold that thought. We'll come back after the short break so that you share with us what you have been doing, because sometimes I see your videos, I see what you do with the children and how excited they always are to work with you. So hold that thought and then you share with us after the short break.
Schools do not have to let the number of classrooms available limit their potential for growth. With PL by EdVest, you can offer your curriculum to thousands of students all over the world with pre-recorded content and live, one-on-one, or group tutoring. Parents can now gain access to tutors in the best schools in the world for their child. No need to pay exorbitant fees while turning the area of weakness to strength for your children with a personalized learning tailored to their best learning method. Students can now learn topics and subjects of their choice from schools and tutors all over the world at their own pace and learning style.
Example. Hello.
EdVest is solving a lot of problems for us. It is centralizing all the information. Temple School has 4 locations, and so it's not easy trying to coordinate everything. You want to be able to sit and look at all the information at a glance.
I think what EdVest did was they added value that was able to support our vision and our mission for the children that pass through us.
We're lucky that we were able to get the EdVest team on board before the lockdown, because with that we had all the information very centrally, and having that was very easy for us to be able to communicate all the different changes.
We now don't have to go to different places to get information. So you don't need to get different spreadsheets. You don't need to get access to different reports. You can eliminate the paperwork. That helps you, I can actually be at a party and I can check on my phone and know what is going on. So,
okay, we do reports. But what do these reports tell us? about our students? Can we have descriptive statements? For the first time, we were able to do that at the end of the last academic session, where not only did we have the grades and ranking of the students, but every teacher had the opportunity to describe the child within their setting, how well they're doing, how well they're coping with the lessons or the subject, and the needs for them to improve. And that was, for me, a big step, because our parents actually embraced.
EdVest has helped us concerning the preparation of results, has also helped us to have database of children or learners, the database of staff, database of parents, and to that extent, communication with parents and staff has become a lot easier.
The quality of EdVest reports has been very, very good. We have not had any cause to give a negative report.
Analyze information. I think it's the analysis. Again, I always say to the EdVest team, is the the fact that we can analyze data. So I know children performance according to gender. Just by touching a button. I know children's performance according to class. Children's performance according to, I can access my financial information, who has paid, who hasn't paid. So I think school owners who are not on EdVest, right, obviously need to be on EdVest.
Use EdVest today.
Use EdVest today.
Use EdVest today. You'll never go wrong.
I'm recommending EdVest today. Make sure you get on board.
Use EdVest today.
I would recommend EdVest to schools, big or small schools.
Use EdVest. What are you waiting for? Use EdVest. Come on now.
Welcome back. That was a short break, very short break. So I want Patience to resume the analysis on how teachers can build content that can, especially for preschoolers, content that can catch their attention, that can make them learn better.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I've been having such a great time, and I hope we are as well. So, thank you for the question and the analysis you painted earlier. I do a lot of self-reflection as a teacher as well. And I think a long time ago, I just sat down. I was looking at my kids, and they were telling me all the characters, in the animated movie. There's so many of them. And it got to me, I was like, okay, so if children could remember everything here, why do we find it difficult to be able to have such experience in the classroom as teachers, especially for the early years teachers? Because I hear people say that, the children are not paying attention, they're not sitting still, they're not learning. And there's one thing, I think it's because we don't know the children. And another thing is because we're always trying to rush them and not give them things that are age appropriate for them. All right? Because most of these animated, cartoons that they have to watch, they are age appropriate. You see the colors there, the size, the sizes of the characters, some very, very dynamic body features as well. All this actually helps gain the children's attention. So when we are planning the activities as preschool teachers, early years educators, we have to think about the child. I tell myself when I'm planning, I think about all the children in my class. In fact, I'm always mentioning their names. So I'm planning my literacy, my understanding the word, I'm mentioning the children's name. Because I want them to be able to see it. I want to be able to deliver the lesson, and it will be memorable for them. All right. So as educators, as LES practitioners, we have to be resourceful. That is the first thing that we have to do. We have to be resourceful. We can't hope to do things the same way all the time. All right. I've heard people say that, I've been working with this age group for years. There is nothing new to learn. I'm like, what? There is always something for you to learn out there. I'm always looking for resources. I'm always reading up. I'm always asking questions. I'm always reaching out to people because I want to know more. If you teach family in last step, you want to teach family again, you have to do it in a new way. So preparing activities for preschool children, you need a whole lot of resources, age-appropriate resources, and that is why we have technology. Technology is here and is here to stay. There are so many resources that you can, get from the media, from online, even different platforms for you to be able to have that exciting learning moment for the children. All right. And of course, your curriculum, your lesson planning have to be planned in such a way that it is age appropriate. Now, if there's something I do, at the beginning of every term, I review my curriculum myself. I do that a lot. I did for this term. I reviewed my curriculum myself. I had to speak with the director. Man, I have to. Of course, she was like, "That's fine. I know you. I know you, patience." I said, "Because man, I think some things just have to change, or some things have to come in." All right, because I'm working with a new set of children. I don't want to teach them the same way I, taught the last one. I want to be able to give them a better experience working in the classroom. So designing activities for them, you want to ensure that there are things that are age appropriate, exciting, fun, engaging. And of course, when you are involving the children, when you're teaching, involve them actively. For example, you're doing storytelling and you're just there telling all the story and everything. And the children are just looking at you. No, you have to be able to find ways to involve the children actively. There are so many characters in the story, I guess. So many movements in the story, I guess. Words, exclamations. You have to be able to make sure that they are part of the learning and they are, enjoying the flow of the storytelling with you. It is very important. Whatever you're planning, think about the child. And of course, pictures. Make use of pictures, pictures, pictures. We can't overemphasize that. Pictures are very important for children. They want to see. All right, they want to see. Then, of course, even audio, they want to also be able to hear. So, for example, if you have your rhyme for the week. Like, okay, so this week in my classroom, we were reciting the essay with a spider. We've done so many things on essay with a spider. We've recited the rhymes. We've colored the pictures. Tomorrow we're making a spider collage. There's no way they won't remember the rhyme because there's so many activities around it. It is because we sometimes teach, let me say we teachers sometimes we want to be lazy. Apology for using that word, but because we don't want to go all out to to lay our hands on things to get materials, we're like, okay, you know what? I know that feeling. I've been there. I've heard teachers say that. How much is my salary? Why do I have to go that extent? Trust me, you want to go to that extent. You want to go to that extent. Okay, it's not a time. I could just take you back on my journey as a teacher and let you know how much I was earning in a particular year and the efforts that I was putting into my work. Because for me, I know I need the money, but then right there, the children comes first for me. All right, so you want to show them pictures, you want to make sure you have your audio, and thankfully for schools that have projector, you want to show them on a bigger screen for them to be able to see that which you're teaching them. Don't ever teach a child without nothing, just reading from a book. No, they need to see it, they need to feel it. All right. I remember teaching the children about sea animals. There was nothing in the school. There was no model animals or anything. The following day, I went to a store close by to get, prawns and crayfish and some tiny little fish. And I took it to school for them to see because they have to be able to relate with it. I was not paid. I had to do it because it was just part of my job. I felt I need to carry out my learning. I had my learning goals. How do I do it? All right, so we have to look for creative way to create activities for the children with technology. Then, of course, we have, I'm a big fan of music and movement. Okay, I have a Bluetooth speaker. Every morning you play music for the children. That's technology. You're infusing technology into their learning. Play music for them. Let them dance. Let them dance. Make use of musical instruments. You can just get some play items of microphone and then practice some form of karaoke, engagements in the classroom. You're introducing them to technology, which is very important. Videos also help you to be able to, for them to learn new things, for them to, for you to provide more opportunities for them to see things that are more. So all these are very, very key. We can't overemphasize this. And it's a whole lot of work. I won't argue. It's a whole lot of work. A lot of planning comes into early years. A lot of planning comes into area. But trust me, when you start, you get used to it, and it is very rewarding. And that is why when children are leaving your class and moving to the next class, you can tell yourself that I have done a good job. And moreover, when they're even transitioning into reception or they are going to, grade classes, you can tell yourself, I have done a good job because you've been able to put in the work to create age-appropriate preschool activities for them. All right, let's not deny them of, exposure to technology in the classroom. It is very important. If you don't have a projector, you have your laptop. Bring it into the class and show them videos. Let them see movable objects in the classroom. It is very important. And the things that you have in your classroom, the Bluetooth speaker, your laptop, name it. Tell them the name. Let them know what this is called. Let them know what this is called. All right. Don't assume that, they will know this is TV, this is laptop. No, that is where your teachers start. Let them know this is a projector. This is a laptop. This is a Bluetooth speaker. This is what we use this for. And of course, you can give them a piano. There's always this piano for them to work on. Let them know what it is. You introduce them to technology. Today, before I left school, one of the parents, she was telling me that, she was looking at her girls, and she was like, I want this one to be a chef. I want this one to be a software engineer. And, these children are just 2 years old. But because she can see where the world is going, where technology is leading us right now, we can't do without it. It is here. It is here to stay. Also involve the children in game activities online for them to be able to move that. There's so many things they could do, tracing. Even when you're giving homework, sometimes it could be online activity for the children to work. Because most of them, they could have iPad and all this gadget at home for them to make use of. Introduce them to some coding activities. As parents, if you have, you are able to introduce them to other things. Let's not shortchange them. Let's not say they are children. Why the need? There's a whole lot of benefits that comes, with.
Wow. Thank you so much, Patience. So what I can pick again from what you just said is exposing them to technology from a very early age. So in everything you're teaching, in any time you stand in front of these children to deliver a lesson, you should infuse a form of technology, one form of technology or the other. And technology does not necessarily mean sitting in front of a computer. Technology can be something as simple as playing music for them to listen and learn a concept. It can be something as simple as them hearing your voice. So I remember during the lockdown, my daughter was about 3 years old then. She had a very fantastic nursery teacher then. I won't forget her so soon. And there was a particular class, storytelling class, that was very engaging. Now, what did the teacher do? She already had the characters written out, and then she sent to us as parents, okay, this is how I want your child, the character I want your child to perform today. So I think my child performed, it was a story on Little Red Riding Hood. So my child performed as the grandma, So, and they were all in their homes. They were not in class. So she told them to dress in that character. And then parents just look for things around you and dress in that character. And then immediately they dressed in that character. Before she started the class, she told them to sit in front of their cameras, their laptops, or whatever device they're using. And then she took a screenshot of how they all looked. You understand? That was one amazing thing. And she sent it to all the parents. It was like a memorable thing for us. I still have that picture till today, even though she's almost 8. Now, another thing that she did that wowed me at that point was the use of sound. You understand? The use of sound. So so what she did was to record her voice using audio as an audio tool. And then she infused sounds in between. I don't know how she edited it. And I think this is one of the things that we need to encourage teachers to leverage on. Teachers should start. In fact, this is the best time to become a video editor as a teacher. You need to become videographer. You need to become even a product manager if possible. To build your own design things, design online themes, and things that can capture the audience, the children you're teaching. So after doing that, while she was playing it, she said once it's time, she gave an instruction to us parents, and then we had to prep our kids and all that, that once it's time for a particular child's role, that the child should stay in front of the camera and act it out. All these things were done using technology. Until tomorrow, those children will never forget the story of Little Red Riding Hood, even though they were not introduced to that concept. So as you were talking, I just remembered that experience I had. Even as a parent, I can still remember the experience. Talk more of the children and the teachers as well. So it's a very good thing that teachers should start leveraging on technology and seek for help. It's not business as usual anymore. Seek for help. I like what Patience is doing. She's going out of her own way to train teachers on early years education and also train teachers on e-learning, how you can learn using technology. And here at Edverse, we're also here to help you and to make you become a better teacher. That's why we're having this kind of program. That's why we host SJ webinars every month, to help you become better teachers and to impact your world positively, right? So I would like us, before we end the discussion, because we're running out of time, I'd like you to tell us some of the dangers in using technology. I hear a lot of parents show their fear about exposing children to too much technology. There's a saying that goes, too much of everything is bad. Now, how can we create a balance? How can we create a balance between the negative use of technology and how we can fine-tune the children towards the positive side?
Thank you. That's a big concern, even for me as a parent as well, because I had to be very, very strict with my kids, especially my son, because he loves games. And of course, there are so many advantages of children, playing games. It helps their thinking, their critical thinking, and all of that. Yes, there are dangers that comes with, introducing children very early to technology. And I think one of the things that we'd say that we also observe as teachers, myself, is that it actually takes them from experiencing real life, from getting involved in traditional play, which is very important. Yes, it is very important. Children have to play. And when I mean real life traditional play, like, building blocks, playing with Play-Doh, pasting, helping out to leave things and all of that, which is very, very key. So that is one of the things that we understand, that we observe, but what we try to do is create a balance. We have to find a way to create a balance. It's not easy, because I know most times parents would be like, oh, I'm back from work, I don't think I have time to attend to this child. We just throw our phones to them, give them the iPad and all of that. We have to create a balance as well. Another danger of exposing them so early to technology is obesity, because if you have a child that sits for too long right in front of the computer, or right in front of the iPad, or right in front of the phone, it's a problem, because they are not able to be on the move and be physically involved. Okay, they are not running, they are not jogging, they are not jumping, just sitting right in front, of a gadget for a very long time. It is not advisable. It is not advisable, because we want our children to grow. Remember, it is part of the prime areas. We want them to grow, and we want them to grow well. Okay, we're also watching out for them to be able to, stay fit as well, and we can also be able to get involved in every other thing. That's another danger that comes with exposing them too early to technology. And of course, we know of cyberbullying. All right. So for children that are being, exposed, and there's no supervision, you don't know what your child is doing, and all of that, someone could be talking down on them from the other end, or sending them some pictures, or saying some words to them. And because they are young children, they are very younger children, they can't defend themselves. What happens? It gets into that. It begins to affect their emotions, begins to affect how they're responding to things in real life. All right. So we want to be able to manage that. We want to be able to manage that effectively. Okay. Another thing is the eyesight. Yes, the eyesight, even for adults, if you're too exposed to the screen for a very longer period, you're gonna have to start developing eyesight problem. Maybe the light, or you could see, or you could read from close distance. These are the dangers that comes in. So how do we help? How do we safeguard the children? How do we create a balance? I think the first thing is, as teachers, as parents, we need to get involved. Okay, when I mean teachers, I know for some of us that really have, technology gadgets and all of that in our workplaces. We try to overdo it. Okay, and I've had cases of someone like, okay, we have a projector and she's just playing stories for the children. I'm like, no, fine. I'm not saying you shouldn't use this, but you know what? Get involved. Let them do some hands-on activities. So even as parents, let's get involved with them at home. Let's be part of their life. Let's play with them. Let's get some building blocks. Let's get coloring activities, pasting activities for them. Let us get involved on them. Let us supervise what they're doing. All right. We have gadgets. Most of these gadgets have parental control. You don't want the children to be exposed to content that are not meant for them. All right. This is very important. We don't want them to start having some form of ideas in their head, and they're wondering, okay, what is this? What is this thing? No. All right, you want to put parental control on the gadget. Okay, because if children are watching things online, we know there will always be pops up. Every now and then something is popping up, a notification, an advert, and most of those things are not even censored. They're just out there, right in the face of the child. We want to be careful of that. So we want to ensure that we're supervising them as much as we can. And of course, we also want to be able to limit the screen time with them. Okay, we're encouraging them to get involved, but we have to limit the screen time. How many hours do they get to spend on, using this gadget? What are they doing exactly? You want to figure out what they're doing on the iPad, on the phone, even as teachers. Okay, you have your gadget, but of course you also want to make sure that you're not giving them all through. You also get them involved in practical hands-on activities. These are very, very key. This is very important. We need to limit the screen time so that they can also socialize with people. I think that was one thing that we struggled with during the COVID-19, because a lot of children were at home, and when school resumed, it was a struggle. It was a struggle, children interacting with other people. In fact, one of my concerns then, because there were so many notions of, children should not interact with others, they should stay, because, I'm like, how do we do it? They are kids. We can't, separate them. We had to find
Yeah.
We can't separate them. It was a struggle. And, because, we had a classroom setting as well, we're spacing out. At a point, I'm like, you know what? I know that I want them to be safe, but I can't do this because they need to develop their social skills. They need to be able to interact with other people. They need to be able to, sometimes if you get into a fight, you want to observe how they're going to resolve such conflicts. Okay, so let them get involved in real life experiences, let them get involved in traditional play, minimize their screen time, and know what exactly they are doing. If your child has, homework from school to do on the iPad, please monitor them. And when they are done, retrieve it. Let's not say, okay, just have it for hours. Let's be sure of what they are doing. Let's not use that to cover up our, interaction with them.
With the environment, exactly. So it has to be balanced. Screen time and play time, and they should get their hands dirty. They should enjoy themselves. They are children. They should enjoy their childhood. Research has shown that a lot of children who did not really pass through a proper and engaging childhood always have issues as adults. So that's not what we want. We don't want that for the next generation of students. And that brings me to the next thing I want us to discuss in just 3 minutes. And I'll be calling up a colleague of mine. He's the head of sales for Southwest region, Temitope. I would like you to join in this discussion where we'll be talking about formative assessments, because from everything you're saying, it shows that the teacher has to understand the students. The teacher has to know what the children, the child is like, how they learn, how they express themselves. And the only way to keep track of this is to have a form of record. right? Which you can communicate to the parents, you can communicate even for, it can also be for your own use, for your diary as a teacher. So that's what we actually call formative assessment. So I would like Temitope to give us a brief on how EDVEST has been able to advance formative assessment for schools, especially in the early years.
Thank you so much, Inena, for calling me up, and thanks to all of our audience for listening to this amazing section. And thanks, Patience, you have been so amazing. Yeah, we've been a lot of people have been commenting for the great work you are doing. Yeah, so for EDVEST, we've done a lot. One of our desire is that we want our clients to be able to get access to different lovely things on our platform. And one of the things we've done is that we've been able to come up with the formative assessment module on our platform. And what is formative assessment is just the idea is for the teachers to be able to communicate to the parents what is happening to the child week on week in a particular topic, in a particular subject area, so that at the end of the term, or at the end of nobody will be surprised about how the child is going or what's happening to the child in terms of the performance. So you can be so sure that the parents will be able to see that, okay, this particular child is currently at this particular level, So I'll be sharing my screen right now to just show some of the things we have been doing regarding its formative assessment. And if you are looking at my screen right now, so as a teacher in the school, you could just have a particular place where you can grade your student based on whatever you give to them in a class call on a particular subject matter in the school for a particular week. And at the end of the day, you'll be able to see a report of your child, how they are doing in a particular subject, a particular topic. Okay, for this particular child, your score is under emerging. Is it under exceeding? Does it need improvement? You can see how the child is doing this week against last week. That means the child has dropped by 40% this week against the child's performance last week. Some of these things are very, very informative. One of the things is that at the end of the term, if the child is dropping in agricultural science, for example, this week, what the child is compared to what the child performed, how the child performed last week, you'll be able to know, okay, how can we come in to help this particular child in this particular area, and so on and so forth. This particular child has improved with 25%. So you'll be able to see how the child is progressing, how the child is declining week on week. And we know our own joy is that at the end of the week, you can also send this report to the parents so that they can get a week-on-week report on how the child is doing in the school. So these are some of the things that we have been doing as a company. And apart from that, we also have some other lovely features, which I'm also going to be talking about right away. But I would like to hand this over to Inena now before I go ahead with some other aspects. Okay, on the
all right, thank you so much, Temitope. So this is just to show us that we can use technology, what EDVEST offers as well, to showcase any form of information that we want to showcase, right from learning to lesson delivery to formative assessment, how you can use, just like what Patience was talking about, tracking the children's performance, what they've been doing, taking record of all the things that they've been doing. And then as a teacher, it will give you feedback. It will give you adequate feedback to know if you are doing the right thing and what else you can do. So as a teacher, just like what Patience said, you can set your rubrics on what you want the children to be able to achieve, their learning outcome, and then set it as part of your formative assessment, which you'll be looking at, and then share with parents, share with your supervisors for information. That is also part of what we do at EDVEST, communicating with the parents, ability to share ideas with the parents and communicate with the parents, and then get the parents to work with you as you develop the milestones of this young children. So I'd like Patience to come back and give us a final word about early years education. What I want you to encourage and inspire the young teachers out there. A lot of teachers are actually getting apathy or showing apathy towards teaching that age group. So I want you to encourage them and inspire them and call it a day for today.
Thank you so much. I think I would just want to encourage everyone that LES is fun. Okay, I know it can be a whole lot of work, but guess what? It is fun, and it is amazing to know that you're part of something. You're part of growth. You're part of a foundation. Okay, that is how I see it. I tell myself I'm part of foundation of so many children, and not just for them to be exceptional students in later life, but to be exceptional adults, because I was given that privilege to be able to teach them, to mentor them, to also deliver a parental role as well. So LES it's a whole lot, and I also want to encourage teachers right there. I know some of us we were discouraged. We're feeling like, oh, this is not thinking. We have our own expectations and all of that. But trust me, there's a whole lot, and LES is a profession on its own. It is. It's a profession. Don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. I want you to be able to reach out. Okay, have a support system. Look for platforms, join platforms, learn from people, interact with other people as well. It will help you. It will help to broaden your horizon as well in just practice. All right. And of course, another thing I also want you to also be able to think of when you think about early years and you feel that you're tired is to look at it as talents that God has given to you, okay, for you to manage. All right, that is the way I see it also, for you to manage. What are you going to do? Are you going to complain and say, okay, God, you gave me this talent, and no, are you going to, multiply it? All right, so that is another way to also say it. I want you to be encouraged, and lastly, develop yourself. Always learn. For people that knows me, I am a big time learner. I'm always learning. I'm always learning. I'm always learning. Last night, a friend was still telling me that Patience, you wrote about 4 projects this year. What is it? I said, because that is me. I have to write my academic project. I have to do a lot of community.
Okay, I think your network is frozen. Patience. All right. So
for children,
all right,
as well.
All right, thank you so much, Patience.
Better the lives of children.
Can you hear me? Sorry, I think your network froze at a point, but we're actually running out of time. I know that you have a lot to offer. So if you're really interested in learning more from Patience, especially as regards LES education, feel free to reach out to her on LinkedIn and on Facebook. She has a wonderful community of LES practitioners, and I'm very glad that she was here to discuss with us and to share her ideas. I've learned so much, and I've gotten the feedback I need that I actually won the argument I had with my colleague last year. So that's a big one for me. So thank you so much for coming to the show, Patience. Thank you very much. I would like us to, before we go, thank you, my awesome audience. Thank you from wherever you're joining from, outside Nigeria, within Nigeria, in Africa, outside Africa. Before we go, I'd like to reiterate some points. First of all, the formative assessment that was shown earlier is for everyone. In fact, it works best with the early years level of education. It works best with the early years level of education. So I just want us to get ready and learn more from EDVEST. EDVEST is here to always encourage schools, encourage educators from all over the world to see how we can make learning better in Africa. That's the major vision of EDVEST, and not just building technology. We also believe that technology should be properly used, properly utilized, and also enhance learning outcomes. So I'll call back my colleague to discuss some other training programs we have for you that would benefit you and that would help you become a better teacher. All right, Temitope.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Nena, for having me. And yes, Edvest is Africa's leading digital educational digital technology company, and one of the things we pay priority on is how to always make things easy for school owners. And currently we are currently having different programs that that will benefit you. Yesterday we were at Ikorodu, where we had a school growth luncheon for school owners, and at that particular program, different people were able to learn how to grow their revenue, their numbers. And I believe some of them will be in this call right now, watching us as I speak currently. And so, if you are also a school owner, we will coming very soon close to you. I know a lot of people have been asking, okay, is the school growth luncheon coming to my location, coming to my environment? So yes, it will be coming to your environment very soon. We'll be coming to Ogbomoso. We are going to Ogbomoso by 3rd of November, to Alimosho 8th of November, to Ogun State November 15th, Lekki 22nd of November, and in Ikeja 24th of November. And we want you to register ahead for this program. Edvest.net/SGA is the program. And one of the beautiful things is that for those that didn't know, we've also had a partnership with University of Colorado Boulder, where on this as a company, will be able to, if you are a partner with Edvest, you are a user of Edvest, you'll be able to have access to simulations on Edvest. And we have the proper platforms like PQ by Edvest, where for this those and the senior categories can have access to past question and Edvest. And one of the basic requirements to use our platform is just for you to have an internet-enabled device, maybe a computer, a laptop, or a tablet, or your smartphone, just to be on Edvest. There's a lot of things that Patience was saying, taking learning on the platform, uploading videos, sending maybe different creative worksheets using our e-notes environment. It's also possible on Edvest. The platform caters for your finances, your administration, your learning and academics, and so many much more that you can have access to on Edvest. We have a partnership with Chrome for school fee payments. They will pay you your school fee in full, and your parents can be paying to these people in installments. So, and for as low as 500 naira per student, you could start using our platform. So, thank you so much for having me once again in there now. And so, just to quickly show us some of the things that we have on our platform that can benefit you. So thank you so much, and have a great day.
Thank you very much, Temitope. I would like to say participated in today's SGA webinar, and I'd also like to say a big thank you to Patience Osinaike. Please, can you bring my star guest up again, and so that we can say a proper goodbye to her. Thank you so much. Keep doing everything that you're doing. Someone is asking that when is Edvest coming to Port Harcourt? Edvest is actually in Port Harcourt. You can reach out to us. We do our SGL school growth luncheons in various parts of Africa, not just Nigeria. But for now, the dates we have is focused on Lagos. We'll be moving. We just came back from Abia State as well, where we had an SGL in Abia State in the month of August. So definitely when we're coming to Port Harcourt, we're going to share the information with you. Thank you very much for joining us in this session. I hope you join us in our next SGA webinar for November, so that we can all share ideas and continue to learn and continue to move education forward as well. Thank you very much. Patience, thank you. You were amazing, and I appreciate you. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Edvest is solving a lot of problems for us. It is centralizing all the information. Temple School has 4 locations, and so it's not easy trying to coordinate everything. You want to be able to sit and look at all the information at a glance.
I think what Edvest did was they added value that was able to support our vision and our mission for the children that passed through us.
We're lucky that we were able to get the Edvest team on board before the lockdown, because with that we had all the information very centrally, and having that was very easy for us to be able to communicate all the different changes.
We now don't have to go to different places to get information. So you don't need to get different spreadsheets. You don't need to get access to different reports. You can eliminate the paperwork. That helps you. You know, I can actually be at a party and I can check on my phone and know what is going on. So,
okay, we do reports. But what do these reports tell us about our students? Can we have descriptive statements? For the first time, we were able to do that at the end of the last academic session, where not only did we have the grades and ranking of the students, but every teacher had the opportunity to describe the child within their setting, how well they're doing, how well they're coping with the lessons or the subject, and the needs for them to improve. And that was, for me, a big step, because our parents actually embraced.
EdVest has helped us concerning the preparation of results, has also helped us to have database of children or learners, the database of staff, database of parents, and to that extent, communication with parents and staff has become a lot easier.
The quality of EdVest reports has been very, very good. We have not had any cause to give a negative report.
Analyze information. I think it's the analysis. Again, I always say to the EdVest team, is the fact that we can analyze data. So I know children performance according to gender. Just by touching a button. I know children's performance according to class. Children's performance according to, I can access my financial information, who has paid, who hasn't paid. So I think school owners who are not on EdVest, right, obviously need to be on EdVest.
Use EdVest today.
Use EdVest today.
Use EdVest today. You'll never go wrong.
I'm recommending EdVest today. Make sure you get on board.
Use EdVest today.
I would recommend EdVest to schools, big or small schools.
Use EdVest. What are you waiting for? Use EdVest. Come on now.
We must protect families. We must protect children who have inalienable rights and should be loved, should be taken care of physically and mentally. This is the goal of a caring school. At EdVest, we aim to support our schools and parents in providing these inalienable rights to every child. Introducing Secure Pickup, an automated process that helps with ease of drop-off and pickup. Now, as a parent, you can be at ease knowing that your child's school has got you covered. Receive instant text and emails as he or she navigates the world of learning. EdVest, we care.
EdVest is Africa's leading digital educational platform, which enables administration, communication, finance, teaching, and learning beyond the classroom. EdVest allows you as a parent to access and track your child's academic reports and personal growth at any time, giving you a better understanding of your child's academic performance.
Have a nice day at school.
We give you the security and reassurance you need to excel in your daily activities and manage your financial obligations to your child's education. EdVest provides an administrative and management system which enhances accountability, teamwork, and growth needed for a thriving organization. Which brings perfect results. Teach creatively, learn effectively, track your child's performance easily, and do so much more with EdVest. EdVest, digital education. Visit www.edvest.net to get started now.